India is a beautiful country with 29 states. To the north we have the long sweep of Himalayas. The sacred Ganges River weaves its way through a large part of the northern plains before giving way to the Vindhyas. The Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri constitute the major freshwater bodies in the south. The golden dune of the Thar Desert in Rajasthan, together with the marshland known as Rann of Kutch in North Gujarat, comprise the northwestern boundary. India is a country very rich in heritage and old traditions, with colorful festivals such as Holi, Diwali, and many others celebrated all throughout the year. These festivals are full of symbolism and have a rich cultural and spiritual significance. Religion and culture in India are closely knit. Diverse ethnicities with many different dialects contribute to the richness of the nation. Every region has its own unique folk art, music, dance, cuisine, and attire. Indians have strong faith in the presence of divinity in all creation, and the numerous festivals throughout the year reflect the underlying value system of the society. Nature, rivers, animals, the sun, moon, planets, everything is worshipped during the festivals and helps to sustain the balance of Mother Earth. Even man-made tools, vehicles and machinery are worshipped and honored at homes, temples and the community. Hinduism is not considered a religion, it's a way of life. Scriptures which date back to thousands of years contain profound scientific knowledge with guidelines on how to live in harmony with nature and the divine. The oldest scriptures are said to be more than 5,000 years old and are called the Vedas. They express philosophies, realities, and the truth about life. This knowledge is said to be the essence of all religions. Indians say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and it means the whole world is my family. All aspects of nature are represented by a goddess. We see beautiful statues and sculptures in the temples all over India. As a social worker from Scandinavia, I came to India with the focus of starting a cultural exchange program between youth from India and Scandinavia. While putting together information for this project, my interest shifted to a highly problematic and urgent issue. This is the story. I was heading for Gujarat, a state in the western region of India. The family who invited me lived in the town Sungat in the district of Surat. In Surat, I visited many different villages. They maintain a simple way of living that is fundamentally closer to nature. "70% of the population in India reside in such villages, and majority of them live below poverty line. During my stay, the villages were facing a drought with soaring temperatures of 45 degrees Celsius and sometimes even higher. Searching for food, water and work, the villagers head toward nearby cities and industrial areas. They work for minimum wage and live in small sheds made out of old plastic and clothes. They live here with their families for about 9 months in a year, and sometimes few families are forced to stay for years in such a condition. As I move around these villages, I learned about some programs being conducted by Christian missionaries, which caught my attention and interest.
We come to this village once a week to give medicine for different diseases such as leprosy, malaria, skin diseases, malnutrition, etc. We also tell them about hygiene and not to go to the witch doctors. But they can go to the church for healing. The church heals everything such as leprosy, malaria, skin disease, malnutrition. It's a matter of faith.
Is it difficult to become a priest in
No.
It is very easy to become a priest. Once in a while, a foreign priest will come from abroad, such as Europe and USA. He will give seminars of 2 weeks' length. After the seminar, participants can open a church in any village they feel like. In our church, we heal many different diseases such as leprosy, malaria, skin diseases, malnutrition, etc. We are very well-known healers. We go to different villages, perform healings, talk about Jesus, and pray together with the people. That is how we convince them to convert. We have around 200 churches in our district. Jesus is the truth, and Hinduism is evil.
All the villages around.
Malaria, typhoid, and so many patients. Now most of patients come with a complaint of diarrhea and vomiting.
We have diseases here in this area, such as leprosy, skin diseases, malaria, and malnutrition. 60% of our patients come to us when they are very sick and more difficult to treat, because they first go to the Christian church for healings and other witch doctors who promise them healings, and then after a period when they are not getting better, but worse, then they come to us for treatments.
એન્ટ્રીનો અમે ફિટ કરીને આવતા હતા ને જ્યાંથી અમે ફિટ કર્યા તે રસ્તામાં દેવળ આવે છે.
Once I was called to a village for some antenna work. When my 2 friends and I had finished our work, we passed the local church on our way to the car. There were about 250 poor people waiting to go inside the church. 3 priests in long white robes were ordering these people to step on pictures of different Hindu gods which they had placed on the steps of the church. This was to prove that they had renounced the Hindu gods by converting into Christianity. Later, it came to my knowledge that they were also ordered to burn pictures of our Hindu gods. My friends and I were very shocked, because if you step on pictures of Hindu gods, it's very difficult to return to the Hindu faith. Poor people choose to become Christians because the church promises them advantages, things that would take the Indian government a long time to deliver, and they promise them healing from all diseases just by coming to the Sunday prayers in the church.
Just inquiring about these programs raised a lot of suspicion from the village heads and the priests towards me. I wondered why there was so much hostility. I started talking more to the villagers. Why had so many Hindus converted into Christianity? What could Christianity offer that Hinduism could not?
When I first converted to Christianity, I got 4,000 rupees from the church to use on my agriculture. That was the reason that I converted. They promised that I could become a priest, but after finishing the procedures, they didn't give me the task. I was only trained to convert people to Christianity and was told negative things about Hinduism. In the district where I live, we have around 25 churches called Sion Church, with more on the way. Christianity is spreading very fast here. Many different churches, Protestant as well as Catholic churches. As Christians, we were not allowed to be with Hindus because they perform pujas using mantras. The Christians say that the mantras bring out the evil in people, that the devil is within them. When they didn't keep their promise to make me a priest, I left the religion and reconverted back to Hinduism. While I was Christian, I couldn't be with my family, was not allowed to be with my family, because they have Hindu beliefs. But now we are back together again. Christianity ruins families. Once I became Hindu again, the Christian people created a lot of trouble for me and my family and for my village. There was a raid between the Hindus and the Christians, and the police came with tear gas. The Christians persecuted me by telling the police that I started the raid against them. Now I am facing court cases and many financial difficulties.
How many years were you Christian?
20 years.
20 years?
I am 22 years old. I was Christian the first 20 years of my life. I have been Hindu for the past 2 years. My uncle is the Christian priest in my village. When I was Christian, my family used to eat together every day. But now that I am Hindu, my uncle never comes to my house anymore. He doesn't want to talk to me because he hates Hindus. 70% of the people in my village are Christians. We have been taught since childhood that Hindus are evil people possessed by devils and demons. We were told not to play with them or talk to them. We were not allowed to enter their homes or eat their food in case the evil entered into us. Life between Hindus and Christians is full of hate. We don't talk if we meet somewhere in the village, and we don't ever work together. If a well needs to be excavated or a road needs to be repaired, we don't even share the same well. The Christians live at one end of the village and the Hindus at the other end. In that way, we don't share the roads either. I used to be very afraid of the Hindus. Our church performs healings. Every 2 weeks, there will be big gatherings with other churches from the district, and priests come from abroad to speak, preach, and give healings. They tell us, amongst other things, that the power of the evil will possess us if we don't go to the church or come for these big gatherings. The church in the village next to ours gives money to the people for their conversions, so many people are tempted to accept Christianity. When I was a Christian, everybody wanted to be like the Americans. For us, the West did feel more civilized than our own culture. We thought that we were better than the Hindus. It felt as if the Hindus were stranger for us and that they didn't belong here in our village. Now, after I have become a Hindu, my Christian friends since childhood don't speak with me. I guess that they are afraid of me now, thinking that I must be possessed by the devil.
I found that there are 3 groups of Christians working in the area: the Catholics, the Protestants, and a 3rd group who masquerade as Christians, but I would say are a type of mafia extorting money and using violence against villages to further their own ends. This last group is the largest.
In my district, 95% of the populations are Christians now. There are 17 Christians and only 4 Hindus in my political committee, so the balance of power falls with the Christians. In the last 5 years, there has been an explosion of new Christians. They vote for the Congress Party, which is governed from abroad in the West. Many times I have attended big Christian church gatherings with 15 to 20,000 people. They perform healings. Sometimes I have brought a sick friend, but they will never take that person for healing. They only use people who are instructed to act sick and then pretend to be healed. They say hallelujah all the time. The Father will speak and call God and Jesus and put his hand on the sick one. Christians are told to burn and step on pictures of Hindu gods. After these meetings, the priest drinks alcohol, uses bad language, and talks about women. Many times I have been offered a Christian conversion. Many of the fathers and pastors are my friends because of my political activities. They say that I could have a new house and a good income if I convert. The priests get money from different organizations in Europe and USA by applying for a project that sounds good. Then they pocket the money. When the priest and his helpers convert new people, they are given money. They earn 1,000 rupees for a group of people and 50 to 100 rupees for 1 or 2 people. The priest earns double the amount of a pastor. The priest also gets money from every prayer he performs in the church. Every person who comes to pray in the church will put between 5 to 20 rupees in a box for the priest. A while ago, there was a report in the newspaper exposing a priest, pastor, and his helpers who took advantage of the women in a church. During prayers, the lights went out and the women were raped. It was a big scandal. Anybody can start a church and apply for money, and many are doing it. The Christians also take advantage of the Indian government by developing programs for poor Hindu farmers. Christian people cannot apply for this money. It is only designed for Hindus. On the application form they will say that they are Hindus. In that way, they can be awarded the money from different projects. Anything built by Christians is not available for Hindus. The Christians don't share. A Hindu can have a glass of water from a Christian well, but he cannot give water to his cow. Of course, there is a law against this, but who is there to control things? The Christians create anti-Hindu and anti-national feelings, and they are changing the Hindu culture.
From threats, bribes, promises to simple mind games, all three groups use all sorts of methods to convert these villages. A missionary takes school children on a sightseeing trip. In the middle of nowhere, the bus supposedly breaks down and the driver says he cannot get it started again. The children are asked to pray to the Hindu gods to help them. And when the driver tries again, the bus still does not start. Now let us all pray to Jesus, he says. And not surprisingly, Jesus has listened to their prayers. The bus starts. The missionaries take advantage of the poverty, illiteracy, and the innocence of the villages. The same thing is happening not only in Gujarat, but all over India. Most of those who have been converted do not even know if they are Catholics or Protestants. They only know the name of the priest in the local church.
We got converted to Christianity because our son was very sick. We were promised that he would be healed in the church. We were Christians for 7 years, but our son was not cured. That phase was very difficult for us because we could not take support from our family, who were Hindus. We could not be with them. We were told that it was because of Hindu influence that our son was sick. After 7 years, our son was still very sick, so we decided to reconvert back to Hinduism. Now our son is not sick anymore. There were big church meetings once a month held by foreign priests. In these, they would tell us not to go into a Hindu house where Hindu rituals were performed. We were told not to chant Hindu mantras and not to dress in the traditional Indian way. Christian women are not allowed to wear bindis and bangles and everything else that we traditionally wear as Hindus. We should not take any food from Hindus either. We were told that we could eat meat from cows and pigs, but we never started to do that. Since we became Hindus again, we are not welcomed by Christian people.
The majority of these missionaries promise better health through simple healing ceremonies, and reminds me of snake oil salesmanship. They make promises of better living standard in the villages, such as water supplies, houses, food, and so on. But the reality is, even after conversion, their life standard does not change. It is common knowledge that the churches buy conversions for $12 a head. Many of the benefits are provided only in the beginning to bribe the villagers to convert, but after a while it ceases. Missionaries prefer group conversions. Once they have 2 to 3 families converted to Christianity, the head priest will start building a church, knowing that more will follow. The church is very different from the village houses, which are made from wood and dirt mixed with cow dung. The church gives the villagers an impression of security and power. The church is built of bricks and is often the most prominent structure in the village. The money flow for the Protestant missionary work comes from Europe and USA, depending on the origin of the church. A major chunk of the funds comes from private donors, industrialists, NGOs, and different European governments. Every year, vast sums of money flow into India. For the Catholic missionary work, the sums reach 8 figures in dollars and come from sources as diverse as the Vatican's and well-meaning industrialists across the world and different organizations like Manna and others. The missionaries target young school children. India is dotted with large and small missionary schools in big cities as well as in small villages. It is widely accepted by Indian parents that missionary schools have better facilities and are therefore more popular. For those who claim to be Christians, the fees are very small or non-existent. Hindus, however, pay a lot more and are actively encouraged to look at the Christian alternative.
હું તો રહી ને તો બી એટલે મિશનરી સ્કૂલમાં તો બી હિન્દુ ધર્મની ટીકા તો થતી જ.
I was taught in the Christian missionary school that to be a Hindu is very bad and to be a Christian is good. We were taught that Jesus is an innocent shepherd like the people in my village and that the Hindu gods are evil because they wear weapons. We were not allowed to learn the traditional Indian language and were stopped from singing the national anthem. The Sanskrit language is learnt by everyone in Indian schools. My father is a Sanskrit teacher, so I know a little. The Christian teacher twists the meaning of many Sanskrit words to give us a bad feeling about Hinduism. 3 of my friends' families were persuaded with food, money, and a low or even no school fee for their children. If you didn't pay the fees in the school, you were totally under the teacher's control and were converted. I myself was tempted to do the same, but my family convinced me not to. Upon refusal, my Christian teachers gave me a hard time. They didn't give me support at all, and because of this I failed my mathematics exams. Even though I am a Hindu, I had to participate in the Christian prayer in the church every day, but I didn't go for confession. And because of this, I was treated very strictly. I believe that the Christians are here in India because they want to destroy the whole Hindu culture and religion.
Gujarat, the Protestants came before.
In Dang, Gujarat, it is very difficult to buy land, especially if you are a foreigner. But the Maharaja used to drink a lot, so it was very easy to persuade him with a little bribe. And with the help of one official, I was able to buy land. When I first came to Dang, there was no Christians here. We started with various projects such as buying buffaloes for the farmers and giving them seeds and grading the land. I soon realized that education was a better method, so I started a missionary school. We received money from various NGOs in Europe and the Spanish organization called Manos Unidos. We even got financial support from the bishop in Germany. At the same time, we began to convert these people. We convert people in large groups so that an individual doesn't start to feel lonely in his or her village.
A lot of the Catholic fundings goes toward building missionary stations, hospitals and educational centers. These include day schools, boarding schools and even theological universities. Bibles are posted to addresses randomly chosen from the directory. lot of money and effort is being wielded to convert India into Christianity. The Indian government gives grants for developing projects, especially for the rural districts all over India. It is a well-known fact that the missionaries bribed the local politicians and leaders to get their work done and to get funds sanctioned from the government to purchase land or to build schools and missionary stations. On Sundays in most villages, a 4-hour prayer meeting is held in the church. All Christians are expected to attend. If they are found not to be there, they are told that they will be possessed by the devil, a threat that they take very literally. They are told to keep away from other Hindus, even their own family members who have not yet been converted. They are closely monitored, expected to donate money to the church. At big church gatherings, loads of people are brought in, where compulsory donations are expected. These gatherings can attract up to 40,000 people or even more. The huge sums raised play a pivotal role in the missionaries' functioning. The people are made to live in fear of the devil if they do not donate or comply with the instructions given to them. To prove that they have indeed given up the Hindu faith, they are made to mutilate, deface, and step on pictures of Hindu gods. My experiences in Gujarat and the things I witnessed in the name of Christianity left me with a very uneasy feeling. I saw aggressive men forcing a fundamentally flawed belief, based on fear and manipulation, on the lives of innocent people. I saw people with a rich cultural history being destroyed. I saw peaceful villages being left in turmoil. I saw hostility and mistrust between Hindus and Christians, and that the state of Gujarat was on the verge of a serious situation of civil unrest due to the misdeeds of Christian missionaries. Do we, as Christians, really want to give money for these conversions anywhere in the world? We do not need to convert from one religion to another, but only from religion to spirituality.